Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am Lori Monaco, the Badass Buddha, coming to you from Southern Connecticut. It is cold, 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 although the days are pretty warm, surprisingly. But right now, I think it's like in the 30s or low 30s or high 20s. I don't know, but it's supposed to be in the 50s. And yesterday was mid 50s, which is so unseasonable. So thank you for being here on Viva Cafe con Leche. I am, what am I? I am an author. I am a speaker, teacher, coach. I am a chiropractor, and I am a weight loss specialist. And what else am I? What else? What else? Um, I'm just awesome, I guess. How about that? That'll work. Okay. So welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, mi gente. Bienvenido. I'm home. I am back home in Tampa. And it's still like the sun's not fully up yet. So it's good to be home. California was good, but it's good to be home. So welcome. It's exciting today. Today is the year of the Prophetess, and when you hear this guest speaker speak, you're just going to be like, wow, because that's what she did to us. So prepare for a great talk today on Viva Cafe con Leche. Who am I? I am La Margarita, your gladiator guru. I am your spiritual coach, your sacred healer. I am your creative. I don't even remember what I am. Your creative art healing coach. I am your writer, your artist. You laughing at me?
Nope.
I am a lover of love. I am like the wind. I am the northern wind and the Caribbean breeze. I am your gladiator guru, La Margarita, and welcome this morning to Viva Cafe con Leche. I haven't had my coffee yet, so I stuttered a lot.
What are you drinking this morning, by the way, Guru?
I am drinking my Crickets Whispers Naturally Orgasmic Cafe, which I missed. It is the house blend, the double espresso beans. That's your favorite. So this is what I'm doing. So good morning, mi gente. Wow, we have people on. My son-in-law, good morning, Argenis.
Good morning, honey. Good morning, Iritza. Straight talk, no shit. Good morning, Nina. Nina in the house. Good morning. Oh, I spelled morning wrong apparently. So I'm looking at what I put up there. So it says good morning. Check my
Good
internet
morning,
connection.
Nina. Good morning, Piri, Toji. My cousins are on. Tiffany Bryan never fails.
Yes.
Oh, and Fer is coming on.
Good.
Yes, and guess who just came on? Say her name, girl. Say her name.
Oh, is Etika in the house?
Yeah.
Etika in the house. So we're so happy. We're so happy that all of you are here because this is going to be a really good show. We are talking about the power of women, or according to Gladiator Guru, the power of
pussy.
So we're going to be talking about the feminine, the energetic and mental, emotional, and just the power that women have, and the power that we've sort of left for a while and didn't sort of do much with, or we suppressed, should I say. And it's time to put it out there. We've seen the world as it's going, and it's time for us to really do what we do best, which is just be us, and how, and the beauty of it is that, that we are, most of our following are women, most of our tribe members. We have plenty of fabulous men that come on and are in the audience or come on as guests. And they are, the reason that they are here also has to do with the fact that they absolutely support women, and that makes them more powerful because their masculine energy is necessary. And it's those men that support the women make it that much better. So they have the power as well, which is absolutely fabulous. And it's two separate entities that work very well together, yin and yang quality. So good morning, Wanda. So we're just waiting for our small business brag to come on. We're going to be featuring Fer from Francia. She's coming on. She having trouble getting on?
Oh, I didn't know. Did
So I want to also say this is the coffee that I'm drinking. I decided to try something different. It's this Black Rifle Coffee Company. Gunship is the name of the helicopter. Veteran-owned coffee, which is pretty cool. And this is from, I got this, I was at Bass Pro Shop. Didn't know they sold coffee, so I thought I'd give it a try. It's okay, not bad. I bought that. It's regular coffee. It's light roast because you know me, I like light. And it's and then I also bought a pumpkin flavored, which pumpkin flavor is not too bad at all. So it's pretty good. But I miss yours. I definitely can't wait for my bags to come in.
I'm trying to see if the link went through. She hasn't written back. Why isn't this? Un momento. But yes, so we also would like to say, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for always coming on. And if you can please like, share, comment on both YouTube and Facebook, subscribe if you haven't already. Just keep this circle of gratitude going, and remember to follow each other. If you're on, like Wanda Stover, if you're on, go visit our Janice page. He's very interesting, very positive. And if we can follow each other and share, I mean, how great that is. It's free. It's just a moment of your time. You never know who you're going to meet with, the person you least expect it to connect with. And that's what we need to keep in mind, is have that abundant mindset that don't limit ourselves as to who we should connect with, who we should talk to. Let's just meet everybody. And then whoever's not for you, guess what? They detour. Just got to go with faith. You got to have the heart of gratitude and just take a leap of faith when you're going out there meeting people. The same way you come on with us and the Badass Buddha and I would just come on and, you know, and we speak and you share, and then we bring on guests. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of connecting, knowing who you are, how firmly you stand in yourself, and then sharing with others. That's really beautiful. That's paying it forward. That's saying, you know what? I know who I am. I am the only one capable of doing what is for me. Nobody can take it from me, but I can share insight. I can share gratitude. I can share kindness. So let's start doing that. Let's make that a new thing, a new normal in this world of new norms.
Yes. And, you know, Gladiator Guru and I were having our meeting yesterday, and we were talking about the fact that it's really important to make sure that, you know, we're setting goals for the year, you know, for 2020. And we don't say it enough, and we really need to, is to make sure that you know, like she said before, like, share, follow. And sharing is really important. You know, for those of you that are on right this moment on Facebook, then go ahead and share it. You know, they don't let you share and do watch parties the normal way you used to be able to anymore. But just copy the link and share it to your page, post it so that other people start watching, because we really want to build up our following. We're just setting up our programming for next year, and we want to go back to the way we were doing it the first year. You know, we really want to be even more bold. Not that this year wasn't great. We've had some fabulous guests, but we want to really go back to that thing that sets us apart, to really stand out and make us bold. And it's important for us to build up our following, and we can't build it up without you. Oh my God. You know what I remind myself of is, like, you know, when, the national, like the what is it? The, not NPR, the public broadcasting, when they're doing their annual thing. Please remember to donate generously. We're not even asking for money. We're just asking for you to share. So
but you sounded phenomenal. And you know what? That's all that matters. And it was true. Okay, good. It's Francia. If you're on, I resent it. So hopefully you get it this time.
Yes. And we have to, you know, like, we need her to be on, like, soon, because we don't want to cut into Keira's spot. So we might have to actually move Francia out to the the end of the broadcast if that's the case. So because we can get Keira on. And Kira's kind enough to be on because it's very early for her. So just like it was for you, Gladiator Guru, when you were out. So Franci, if you could get on like in the next minute, that would be great. And if not, we're gonna have to push it back till to the end of the program.
Come on, Francia, with that beautiful face. Come on.
I know, I was looking at her Facebook picture and on her personal page. She looks so like
amazing.
So, like what's the word? She's exotic.
Yes.
So exotic looking. Gosh.
It's very exotic.
Every time I see her, that's all I think of is just, I feel like, and the funny part is she poses a lot like that and she'll have videos, but I always think like there's a wind that always follows her. Like when some people walk and there's always this breeze that follows them. Like that's what Francia reminds me of. And no matter where she goes, it could be, all of us could be sitting there sweating and it's just, there's no movement of air. There's Francia with the breeze, like blowing,
Like if there's some invisible to us, the guys with the big leaves that just follow around with that. Yeah. It's beautiful. Her personality matches that. And that's what it.
She does. She's as beautiful inside as she is on the outside. Absolutely. Yeah. So, okay. So I think what we're going to have to do, Gladiator Guru, is go ahead.
That's fine. We'll add her into the end. Good morning, Melissa Hernandez Moran.
All right. So today's conversation is going to be on the age of the prophetess. And this was a topic that was actually picked out by our guest and our fabulous guest. And sadly, as usually, Keira, I am so prepared for this. And for some odd reason, I'm not. I know because we had rescheduled. And so I've like lost paperwork somehow, somewhere. So we're going to bring you on and we're going to have you introduce yourself because Keira's got a lot going on. Like she's a podcaster. She's a book publisher. So anybody that's thinking about doing a book this year coming, this is the person you want to talk to. And while you're discussing things, I'm going to pull up your social media stuff so I can pin it up and we can get it up there. So anyway, all right. So let's bring you on. All right. So good morning, Keira. There she is.
Good morning.
Look how pretty she is. What time is it over there? What are you, 2 hours?
It's like at 6:15. I like literally was so stressed because I missed our last show because this was so early in the morning. So
I know we had the time wrong
everywhere.
Yes.
Like,
you're so cute. I know we had time. You know what? And then when we got in touch with her, she was like, wait, I thought it was for 11. I'm like 11 and then 11, like your time or something like that. I'm like,
I had it all weird. I know. I'm sorry.
So how's the weather over by you? You're in Idaho, right?
Idaho. It's winter, right? This is my second real winter because I'm Arizona native. So we moved here 18 months ago. And I'm loving it. I'm loving seasons. There's something that happens to the soul when it's like, when they start harvesting the sugar beets in October, my body's like, oh, it's coming. Winter's coming. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never experienced that in my life because Arizona's like hot, warm, kind of cool, warm, hot, right? So it's super fun to have seasons.
Are you in southern Idaho?
Yeah, we're right by Boise.
Oh, okay. So when I went out and did my trip, I went to my intention was to like hit all of southern Idaho, like across, but the only place we got to was Twin Falls. And Idaho is, I mean, seriously, honestly, all I knew was potato. Like, you think of Idaho, you think of potato. And Idaho is really surprisingly beautiful. Like it's like even Twin Falls is like flat, right? And you're looking at it and I'm going, why is it called falls? Like, where the hell are the falls? Like it's so flat and there's farm and there's nothing. And all of a sudden you come across this deep gash in the ground, like this deep crevice. And you're like, wow, what is that? And then with going to like I think I forgot the name of it. It starts with an S, the falls. I'll remember it in a moment, but you go down, you're kind of like going downhill and you're not thinking that all of a sudden it comes out to this, because they all have what are those called? Like it's like the Grand Canyon in that sense, but it's like a a big crevice, you know, and
Mhm.
it was just beautiful and spectacular. And then I started watching some special on Idaho. The whole entire state is gorgeous, just
Right?
so gorgeous.
It's like
Yeah.
the land of the magic and new and new. Like there's this place called Redfish in the water. It's a mountain glacier lake and it looks like you're in the Caribbean and it's like towering with these mountains. And I mean, I've just fallen in love with Idaho. So very grateful to be here.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So tell everybody about what you do. Tell them
Yeah.
all about how fabulous you are, and because it's not just your business, you also have to tell them your mom that you know you are a mom. So
Yeah.
like you're balancing all of this. So please impress everybody.
I mean, I'd really like to say that I'm balancing it all, but let's be real.
Facade, it's all right. We're good. We're good with that.
I have 5 kids. So I have 7 to 17. I have 4 sons, 1 daughter. And you know, right now we're homeschooling 2 of our teenagers, which was never in the cards. So that's why I say balance feels like an illusion at this point. But I am also a spiritual entrepreneur. I have a crazy love for spiritual work, for working with the divine, and I love, love, love business. So I combined them together. And I run a mastermind of women called Awakening Authors. And in that mastermind, I help women learn how to navigate both worlds, the feminine and the masculine, really creating spiritually with the divine, teaching them how to channel their books through instead of writing their books. And then I teach them how to create really successful businesses. So it's like, write a book, awesome. But if you can write a book that also has like a course that also has some systematic forms of business, now you are going to be a successful thought leader. So I don't want to just help people write and publish a book. I want to help them actually create successful messages that make a difference and create a successful business. So on the backside, I actually run a publishing house where all these women who I have in my mastermind, they all get to publish with Freedom House and anyone else who has a book of light. So Freedom House, we publish sacred writing. And that's really powerful for me, is that everything we put through it's sacred. It's powerful, divine work that needs to come to the world. So I'm really passionate about bringing that writing and publishing to the world.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. And you have a podcast as well, correct?
I do. I have a podcast. It's called The Awaken Podcast. I'm almost on 3 years. February is 3 years for me.
Wow.
And I had no idea I would love podcasting as much as I do. I also have written a few books as well.
And who else has just written a book?
My little girl.
Yes.
Which
Thank
is
you
so
for bringing that
magic.
up, Gladiator Guru.
Yeah, because I am like just loving that. I was like so excited.
I'm so glad. It really like it was one of those things where it just showed up. I had one of my clients wrote these beautiful affirmation cards and they were for little kids. So of course I bought them for Presley. She was 9 at the time. And she sat down with these cards and she just like, it was like she was just eating them up. And she was like, Mom, I have things like this to write. And I was like, fantastic. So I go and I grab this whole stack of computer paper. I'm like, right, let's see. Let's bring it through. And she literally sat there for 2 hours. And she did not move. She just wrote and wrote and wrote. And when she was done, she just put it down and she said, I'm done. And she went off and played. And I went and I sat down and I was like, what is this magic? And I called her in. I'm like, Presley, this is a book. We're going to publish this. And so we went through the whole process. We looked at all these artists. We found artists that she really liked. And we had this artist create this magical book. Actually, let me just grab it really fast. It's so beautiful.
Liza!
This is the book she wrote, and it's all affirmations. And so we had an artist come in and write her affirmations in this really beautiful way. And you know what's so beautiful is the words that come from a 9-year-old are so clean. They're so pure. They're so like, oh, that is truth. Yes. And that's what every one of these affirmations is, just so beautiful. And it was so much fun. I remember the night we got her proof copy, she just looked at it and she started to cry, and she was like, I can't believe people are going to read my words. And it was like, oh my gosh, like I felt so grateful that I had created a publishing house where publishing her book became super simple. And I just said, you're the beginning. Like, I hope to open this whole new arm of Freedom House for little girls and teenage girls becoming published authors. And it was magic.
Yeah, yes.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's really, first off, that speaks volumes of you, though. Like, she's a reflection of you, because I've been around a lot of 9-year-olds, including my own, and I don't know if all 9-year-olds would be able to find those words, because it does depend on what's going on with them and how they feel, about themselves, about their world. So that speaks volumes of you, the fact too that you supported her on her dream to be able to do that just opens so many doors for her, and maybe she will go on to be an acclaimed author, or maybe not. Maybe that'll be the only book she ever writes, but it just tells her that she could do it. And I think that the name alone symbolizes that Freedom House. It's like you have the freedom to express yourself, and you're going to be in competition then with Hay House Publishing, right? Because I like your name better, I got to tell you. So,
Well,
that's really beautiful.
Yeah, when that name came in, my publishing house showed up first. So when I first started my business in 2018, which is crazy that it was only a few years ago, the divine showed me that I needed to start a publishing house first. And I did. I put everything, I met with lawyers and I did all this stuff, set it up. And then I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Why would I start a publishing house? And it just sat literally for almost 2 years in the corner until I started to coach leaders. And then they started to come to me and say, I have this book. What do we do? And I was like, oh my gosh, I have a publishing house. Let's figure out how to publish. And that's how the divine works, is you're given these inspirations, but it doesn't come through usually right when you receive the inspiration. There's this pathway to it starting to come to fruition. And that was really the magic of watching Freedom House come alive.
I think that's what makes it even more spectacular, I mean, listen, and I Gladiator Guru and I are very optimistic, spiritual beings, but there's also that realistic element of it, and I have seen personally over the last 2 years, a lot of people pop up and say, I'm a publisher, because that became the big thing to do. It's like there was the need for it. And so, and one thing I've learned in my journey in the last year is that they're not all equal. They have their strengths, they have their weaknesses, but it's just like anything in life. It's like working with a coach. You have to have the right fit. You have to have the one that resonates with you, and sometimes it's trial and error, and I definitely, you and I've talked, like I've emailed, I've sent to you, and I said, you and I have to have a conversation going forward about your publishing company and some of the things that my projects that I'm working on, because the resonance is there, whether or not we end up working together specifically, or it's just a matter of filtering people to you. It's that support. And it's just like, I don't mean to compare it, but it's just like Hay House Publishing. Louise Hay found her niche because nobody wanted to publish any of that stuff. It's like all these big publishers didn't want to publish that stuff. And she says, no, I'm going to, I'm going to create a publishing company then. And I'm going to do that. And since then, now she's become a very big publishing company, to the point where even the smaller people can't get in there unless, and so that's why the need for companies like yours is so necessary, not to mention the podcast. And Gladiator Guru, have you ever listened to Keira's podcast?
No.
I could just, not that the topics are so interesting, first off, but Your voice is so relaxing. Please, for the love of God, like do some sort of voiceovers with meditation music in the back, because I could easily, you could do like some subliminal recordings or whatever. Your voice is so relaxing that she starts her podcast off and I'm just like, ah, I feel so like I melt, like just listening to the beginning.
Thank you. That means so much to me. Honestly, like I really believe in spiritual tools. So I wouldn't say that my voice is relaxing most of the time. I have a pretty loud voice.
And your kids probably wouldn't agree with
No,
that, right?
they would
Yeah,
not.
mine wouldn't either.
But before I podcast, I actually like bless my vocal cords that the vibration that comes out of my vocal cords will actually help shift and transform people down to their cells. So like I feel like it's the prep work that's the difference, because my voice actually isn't, I don't think it's actually super relaxing. I'm pretty like high level energy 99% of my life. So the podcasting is sacred. It's like when I sit down, it's sacred work. And that's how I feel like all the work is, right? Like writing our books. This is sacred work. This isn't us trying to go, make our businesses boom from a book. Like the work that I help women do, it's like, no, we're channeling through sacred writing that's going to change humanity. This is very important work. And that's how the podcast feels for me as well. So I'm so happy you love it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. As a sacred healer, that's what I do in my house. I'm constantly cleansing, speaking to it. When I returned from California, the first thing I did when I walked through the door was acknowledge my home. And I was like, I'm so grateful to be back. I've missed you. And I walked in through every room and I acknowledged the spirit of my home.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my plant, she's still alive. And I'm like, so like my first plant that has survived, I've killed 2 cactuses in the past. So this is really huge for me. And and I acknowledge her and I speak to her, my munchkins on my windowsill. And even when I'm roasting my coffee, it's a whole movie. It's a dance. It's an enchanted dance back there. It's the sage burning. It's the jazz playing. It's the facing the 4 corners of my sanctuary, and then just sitting there and roasting so that the essence of vitality, of flavor, of life goes into my coffee beans as they're roasting. So I totally understand. I come from a spiritual background since childhood. So when you do that with yourself, when you have your faith and you open up to receive what's yours so that then you can share, that's such a sacred element that you have, that it's okay to give, because what I have no one can take, but I can give from a place where it is in abundance. So I love that. Yes.
That's good.
So let's talk about and it is, Gladiator Guru, why you just saying that and what Keira's been talking about, it emphasizes the prophetess, like it emphasizes that element. So you came up with the title, Keira. So tell us about the age of the prophetess. What does that mean to you? And why is that so important as we're ending 2021 and going into 2022?
So this came to me like most things do in my sacred space one morning, and I was just writing and the words came, the age of the prophetess. And it felt very bold for me, like, oh, these are some really bold words. But then I started to sit with it, and it was like over some time, I just started to see like we are so lucky to be women alive right now. Like this is the luckiest time we could ever be as thought leaders, because we are allowed to speak and share and create like we've never been able to do in history. Like women are safe to be prophetess. Women are safe to connect to the divine and speak really powerful messages or write sacred writings and have them actually be received. And that's what I believe the age of the prophetess is this is the time. This is the time where women are safe to show up in all of their gifts, in all of our crazy, wild, amazing, powerful, magical gifts, and speak and share and lead and be received. And that's like a new dispensation. And it's a powerful role to be able to say we get to step into in this magical time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to be able to, I think that we all own that power. I mean, if anybody says, what were you in your past life? Cleopatra.
Yeah.
Like that's what my energy vibe. I have that ancient.
I think I was a dog.
And so, and so, yes, when anybody says, I say it without hesitation. That's where today, where I feel that's where I was. So to be in that place where you can say and do exactly what that's such a, that is a divine awakening. That's something that it just was with you, but you got it. How many people have it and don't realize it?
Yeah.
Until something is said, and then you're like, hold up, that sounds so familiar. Like your body tingles, like you're feeling it, like it's sewn into the tapestry of your soul. It just hasn't been awakened.
Yeah.
And I think that speaking about it too, other people listening, it's like, wait a minute, what is that? Because I felt that, but they don't, like I like to say, they don't see past their nose.
Yeah.
Especially the unknown. It's sometimes scary for some people. And for other people, it's like, bring it. I got this, Go ahead.
Well, it's interesting. I was talking to my husband the other day, and I've watched what happened when I said yes in 2017. I had this crazy trauma breakthrough. Well, it was like a trauma breakdown that awakened this inner power of like, I'm going to live here on this earth. And if I do, then I'm going to stay in, like, I'm going to do what I'm here to do. And that right there, it changed my whole life. And prior to that 2017, my husband and I were talking, like, I had no idea the gifts that were inside of me. I had no idea that I was actually here to run massive companies, that I was here to make a massive difference. Prior to 2017, I took like 2 massage clients a week. I cooked all day and I did laundry. That was legit all I did. And I was so unhappy. And now we both look back and we're like, because look at what I was here to do. And I was living so below my gifts. But it was like, that's all I knew what to do. Like no one said to me, Keira, you can start a company and take it to 6 figures in 2 years. No one told me that I could do that. No one told me that I could run a publishing house. Everyone was like, yeah, you're doing a great job feeding those kids. And that's a beautiful and wonderful part of my life. But there were so many more things inside of me that I didn't know I could do. And that's what I think, that's what we're breaking. We're breaking this like veil over women of like, you're actually here to shake the world. You're actually like disruptor of light. Like,
Yes.
Let's bring it in. And like, I just feel so grateful that I had that really hard breakdown, because otherwise I would still be probably really unhappy living way below my gifts.
And imagine all the women that would have not, nobody wants to say they're followers, but there's always a leader to start a revolution.
Yes.
So we need those awakenings to occur, and the confusion that comes with it, and the imbalance of you feeling like you're walking around like this because you don't know who you fully are and what you're capable of doing or what you should be doing, because you should be cooking all this chaos.
Yes.
But then somehow you shift right in your lane where there's no traffic. So where there's no traffic jams with all your negative thoughts and the ifs and the what could have, should have. So you're opening yourself spiritually, and then the gifts are pouring out to all of us who have been thirsty and just malnutritioned with the life that we thought we should have lived. So, I mean, your gifts are in such abundance because it's not only about you.
Yeah.
And you're doing exactly what you're supposed to have been doing. You're supposed to be sharing with the world your gift. And for those that attached to you are the ones that are supposed to. People are like, why aren't you doing this? There's a time and place for everything. And I believe that this year is the awakening for most of us. Do you agree, Badass Buddha? It's about not apologizing. And it's about going after your dream, making your goal a reality, and sharing with the world what you were born to do. So
Yes.
thank you for finding that out.
And I love that what you pointed out, Gladiator Guru. There's always somebody that starts. There's always a leader, because on the masculine side, and it's not that I'm throwing anybody under the bus, but this is the common thing: is, oh, that's nice. You have a nice little publishing company. Oh, that's nice. Would you do 1 or 2 books? That's a nice hobby for you. Like, and that's the common energy that we hear as women, is that we start a business, we raise a family, we go back to school, we do all these things, and what we get often is, oh, that's a nice little hobby.
Yeah.
But if it was a man doing it, it would be, wow, man, look at this. He's he's a single dad. He's raising his family and he's running his business. We don't get that. And then there's the other side, the feminine side, where we've been so caught up in the energy of that competition, where instead of supporting, women are known to also say things like, oh, well, look at her, she's making us all look bad, like she's doing all that stuff, she's got to be failing somewhere. And maybe you are struggling, but the bottom line is you're not looking at it as a struggle, you're looking at it as a learning tool, and you're going to make yourself better. The question is why do we have to go to either side? Why can't we acknowledge on the male side to say, this is incredible. Like, I can't do what you're doing, like that, to take care of kids, to do everything, run the household, and then also run your business. And on the feminine side, say, you know what, girl, you got this. Like, you are an inspiration. Just like Gladiator Guru was saying, you're an inspiration. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for setting up the bar. We're going to follow you. I'm going to branch off into my own path. But hey, I'm waving to you on the path as I'm walking beside you, because we're not in competition with each other. That is the shift that must happen. And
Yes.
that is the age of the prophetess. Is enough already talking shit about each other and going, oh, smiling through your teeth. And then you hang up the phone and go, oh, that's stupid, blah, 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 like how she's doing that and blah, blah, blah. I'm talking crap. It's done already. Like, we can't do that anymore. We need to shift to that energy, because, like, what I view you, Gladiator Guru will agree with me. So I'm going to say this, that she's just going to be going like this, right? When you look at Keira, you're very angelic looking, I have to say. Like, you have this glow about you. I know it's the hair, it's your face, but it's just, you could see that you are very aligned with your purpose. You could see you're aligned with your passion, because it's an energy that flows off, and it creates this beauty, this outward beauty in an individual. It doesn't mean that, and understand, tribe, it doesn't mean that when somebody is aligned and they look good at one moment, means that they have it all together every single moment of their day. It's just like saying, are you happy every day? The answer would be yes. Are you happy every moment of your day? No, because I have 5 kids, because I have, whatever, like, I have a business, things go wrong, but it's about shifting and knowing that in the end, the main purpose is, I'm living the life that I want to live, and I'm doing the thing that I want to do. I'm running the business that I want to run in the way I want to run it.
Yeah.
So that's why that energy flows, and then you're bringing everything towards you.
Yeah. And it's true, right? Like, why am I homeschooling my teens? Because they got into trouble. I didn't say, let's homeschool you. That sounds fun, right? Like, this is life, right? Like, this is life. And last night I'm like crying, because I'm like, I don't know what to do with these kids. Like, all I want is for them to have successful, amazing lives. And somehow I don't have the tools, no matter what I do. It's not easy, and life isn't perfect. And I'm not happy every second of the day.
Right.
But when I take time and I see this is like really become very clear for me, because the last 2 weeks I've had sick kids, homeschooling these teens, and I'm actually like starting this nonprofit that I don't know if we're going to talk about that. We'll see if that comes through, but that's like kind of a big thing that's showing up for me. And it's a lot. It's a lot on my plate. And because I have all these little kids waking up all night with coughs, I'm not getting up in my morning space. So it's 2 weeks of no morning space. And last night I hit freaking nuts. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not spending time with God. Like, what? No wonder I feel crazy, because like, I'm not going in and being fed every morning. And it was such a reminder that my happiness actually comes from my space with the divine. And
Yeah.
if I pull that out, I just literally run off fumes and nothing works. So it was like a real clear awakening of like, okay, that means if my babies are going to be getting up all night, I got to be in bed by 9 so I can get up at 5 and spend time with the divine. Because without that source, nothing runs.
Yes.
And that was a huge, just a reminder last night of like, that's what makes my world work.
And the fact that you have the clarity on that, the only way we gain the clarity is when we take the moment to ask ourselves those questions and like, who am I right now? Who do I want to be? What's important to me? And I lost, like, so that was a short period where you sort of lost yourself, which is great because it was short. My whole 2021 was a constant back and forth of not honoring myself, not taking that time. And I completely lost my ritual. We all have our own way of doing things and connecting. And in the end, whether you're saying the word God or when you're saying source energy or universal intelligence or whatever, it is still a connection. Like we're grounding ourselves. Or if you say, I have no belief in anything, the fact though that you believe in yourself is still a belief. And you still have to connect. You have to take that time to connect. When you feel unclear, when you feel foggy, when you feel frustrated, resentful, angry, those are all good indicators that you're not connected. You are not connecting. And it's funny because when we get in that funk, we resist it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, and then we get deeper in the funk and we're like, I just don't want to be bothered. Like, I'm not going to do my rituals. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to get up early. I'm not going to meditate, blah, blah, blah. And then we get further and further. But if we just force ourselves to take that moment and just say, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And then as we resist, that which we resist persists. So we resist it, and then we wonder why everything's falling to hell and crap. And then we stop and finally say, okay, all right, I've surrendered. I give up. I'm just going to do this. And then all of a sudden we align and the stuff starts coming back. So I think that's the beauty of the prophetess. I think that's the beauty of the feminine power, is the fact that we have such divine power that we are very, very connected with source power. I'm not necessarily saying that the feminine is more connected than the masculine. I'm just saying, all I could say is for mine. Like, I feel the feminine power is very connected. And when we disconnect ourselves from that, we disconnect ourselves from a lot of things. It's not just ourselves, it's also our sisters. And it's our earth, it's our world, because we are the conduits. We are as you say, Gladiator Guru, you're always magical with this. You're always talking about, we are the energy, we are the power, we are the life givers. And
we're the breeders of life. Yes, we're the
life.
trendsetters and the trailblazers, and we're the motivators in
Yeah.
everything, and we guide. And we inspire our children to be the best that they can be, and all those around us when we're listening. I mean, without us, where would the world be? We need more of us standing up to our full potential and coming into our power as women and as the strongest species to exist in the universe. And we forget that. We need more reminders. And did you notice Melissa says she signed up for your podcast?
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
Yes. Good morning, Lillian. Liza said I don't know what she was. One guest finally was able to come on. She doesn't have her grandbabies today. What a perfect day to actually come on and watch the whole show.
Yes,
Eileen, thank you for coming on, Eileen King. So it's just the beauty of, look at how people have come on and stayed on, and it's just listening. So what would you recommend a new author, a woman coming into her own who would like to share her spiritual background, her spiritual experience, her spiritual awakening? I mean, a lot of us don't dare speak about it because of all these religious stuff and coming into your spirituality, or acknowledging it, or just saying, it's time for me to share it with the world, whether they understand it or not. It's for select people, but you got to put it out there to gather those people, to awaken those people. So what would you?
So I think really it starts with a little bit of detachment, right? Like if you are here to bring really sacred writing through, it's not actually yours. It is the divine's. It's the higher source. You get to be the body that brings it to the world. So when we can detach from like, oh, I got to write the best book and I got to know what to say. Like the truth is it's actually already created. So, you know, I have a bit of a gift where I can feel, you know, when a spirit shows up, and I'm kind of like weird like that. And when I started to help people write their books would show up and they would feel like a spirit, like how I would experience someone showing up. And so all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, these books are like, they're like essences. These aren't just like things we're making up. They're already created. So what we then get to do is two things. We get to clean our vessel first, because the visual I always see is like if I have this pure water coming straight from the mountain, and yet I have a vase that's got mud inside of it. No matter how many times I put that pure source water into the vase, the water is going to get muddy. So we exist in a world full of energetic mud all day long. So if we're going to channel this book through, we got to clean our vessel. So first would be like pouring some light through your body from the top of your crown all the way to your toes, cleaning every aspect of your being. Then placing like a shield of light around you. I call in all of my angels, my guides, my leaders. I bring them all in and through light and ask them to support me. And then I like clean my hands energetically, like let the words come through my hands, and then I spend time with the book. The book is already written, but if you don't spend time with it, it's never going to come through. So we get to really clean our vessels, call in our spiritual guides, and then spend time. And when you spend time in that way, women write their books in 2 months all the time with me. Why? Because we're not writing them, we're receiving them.
Wow.
And that's the distinction. And that's why people write books so quickly when they come into my masterminds. It's because they're not trying to figure it out. They're just showing up to receive the book that's already been created. So that would be my suggestion. I am going to put in the chat right now. I have this free little mini course.
Oh, fabulous. Yep, we'll post it.
Let me, oh shoot, it's not, let me grab it really fast.
Can you talk while you're grabbing?
I think that was
Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Okay. So
because when you were gone, Gladiator Guru, oh, she hung up. She'll come back on. When you were gone, Gladiator Guru, she was talking about she's starting a nonprofit. Like she's got like all this other stuff going on. So what we'll do is we have time now to get her into talking about that as well. So okay, you got it in there. I was just telling Gladiator Guru when you popped off for a second that you had mentioned about your nonprofit and our small business brag. Our person is not going to be able to make it. So we're going to be able to go right to the 9 o'clock spot. So if you want to talk about that, like, dang girl, like a nonprofit too. All right.
Okay. So this, so backing up a little bit to when I say I had my trauma breakdown was when all these trauma memories of being abused as a kid showed up, and I was extremely suicidal. I mean, the level of pain that came was like someone had been holding this tidal wave for like 32, 33 years, you know, it was like, it just hit me. And I was like, I can't live in this much pain. And
I know that
luckily the divine showed up for me and was like very clear, like, you have work to do. You need to stay. And I have a deep passion for helping people who deal with suicide ideation. That was my first time. I actually dealt with suicide ideation since I was 14, which is a huge, it's like when you get the chicken pox, you have red dots all over you. When you are a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, suicide ideation is one of the symptoms. It's just like, it's like one of the pieces that comes, right? So I dealt with suicide ideation my whole life, fighting it, hiding it, not wanting to acknowledge it. And when I began my work and I stepped into creation, I was shown these visions of these centers. And these centers are physical spaces where they fill a hole, right? Right now, if someone's dealing with suicide ideation or if their kids are, there's really not this space to take them. It's like, okay, you can maybe go put them on meds, and then we're going to hope that everything's fine. And then we're going to end up in a psych unit. Like, there's like, what? There's no hole here. There's nothing.
Yeah.
And that just feels absolutely ridiculous to me, especially because the stats just said that teen girls went up 51% in suicide attempts in 2021. 51%. It's like, what the hell is happening? How is there nothing to fill this hole? And so anyways, the divine has been showing me these visions, and I've been like, sorry, that's too heavy. I can't take that on. Like, there's no way I can actually create these centers. But then in October, I got a very clear message that was like, it's time to stop messing around and get this going. And when I get a very clear message, I don't mess around with it. It's like, fine, you want me to create these centers? Then show me how. So as the divine does, each piece was shown to me. The weekend it was shown that it needed to come through. I was actually in a sound healing training. And while I was there, I was shown which pieces of sound healing had to be in these centers. And then I was like asking, well, how am I going to fund this? Like, this is going to cost a lot of money. And so I was shown two things: one, to create a nonprofit, but also to launch a collaboration book. So anyone listening right now, I'm still in my launch phase. We've got 3 weeks left for anyone to say yes to being an author in this book. So this book is called Collaborating with the Divine, a Sacred Communion. And the collaboration book is every author writes one chapter. And the chapter is about how you connect and collaborate in creating with the divine. So source energy, God, however it is that people relate to the divine, how does this look for you? And it's obviously an investment, as it is with any collaboration book. It's $1,500 to be a co-author, which is amazing because it's usually a lot more to be a published author. And this will be published on 2/22/2022. So starting the year off as a published author is a phenomenal energy, but all the money that comes to this book is directly going to set up the nonprofit and get these centers alive. So I've got about 12 authors so far. I'm looking for 22 because 22, the twos seem to be the number for this this project. It's just really beautiful to see who's showing up and writing in this book, and also who's just showing up. I had someone listen to my podcast who messaged me and said, like, I help design buildings, and I can never say this word right, so y'all can laugh with me. If it feng shui, how do we say this?
Feng shui.
Feng shui. They said, I would like to donate my time to do this to your centers of
Oh,
hope.
that's nice.
And so it's like these little pieces are just starting to show up, and like everything, whenever, when the divine asked me to create a publishing house, I was just like, okay, sure. Right. So I like did the things I knew, but then as things started to happen in my publishing house, I saw all the holes in publishing. Like, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. So then I created these systems where people literally come in and they email us their book and they fill out these forms and we publish them. And it's like, bing, 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 crazy, crazy simple. I would have never been able to see that when I first started the publishing house. So I get to have the same mindset with these beautiful centers. I don't have to see how this is going to happen. I don't have to see how I'm going to fund every center. All I have to be is a yes and follow every piece that comes in, because it's about damn time. That's all. Like, this can't be ignored anymore. We have little ones, we have teenagers, we have grown adults, people who are drowning with suicidality, and there's nothing to support them. And I'm so excited about these centers. I see, these visions that keep being shown to me, the second they walk in, there will be an actual vibration that shifts them down to their cells. Like the second that they enter these
That's
buildings.
beautiful. That's
So
phenomenal.
I'm nervous as hell and I'm so excited.
Good.
You know, and definitely reach out to me. Let's have a conversation about that, because I've also been being pulled, and actually another one of our tribe members who hasn't been on in a little bit because she's been very busy, but she's also the co-author in the compilation book that we all did. We were looking on it from a perspective of depression and anxiety and in teens, but starting with girls, and suicide can be put into that mix, with the focus on loneliness, lack of friends, because my teen daughter's going through that, her teen daughter's going through that, where there's literally, there's bullying, where people are like attacking you mentally, emotionally, physically, and then there's people who ignore you, and that is just as damaging. And so we were putting our heads together to create a collective of to literally to get these individuals together to just be friends, like, because the friends of the friendless, basically, and I think that, again, I think 2022 is the year of collaboration. Truly, I think that's where everybody's starting to shift. That's where we're going to see the strongest energies, is like-minded individuals, whether they collaborate to create together or they collaborate to create their own things, but side by side. So anytime you want to have a conversation, because I would love to hear what your vision is, and then see, because mine is more, I want the in-person thing as well. I think that's vital. We need to be energetically in touch with each other and physically in contact with each other. But it's also great to provide it this way as well, because you could still have a conversation with somebody who's in another state, and it's just as powerful. So let's have a conversation about that, and maybe after the holidays.
That's awesome. And I think there's a lot. Ajusta tu corona. I don't know if Lillian is still on. Lillian, if you're on, she's opening. That's her goal, is to open, but for domestic violence. She's a domestic violence survivor, and so she wants to open up the Sunflower Haven. And I think it was the disconnect from 2020 and the slow part of going into 2021. It's too much of this and not enough of hugging. It's not enough of listening to each other's breath when you're speaking. I mean, that sound went missing. The essence of someone's spirit when they're just breathing. And that was a connection when we congregated together. And that, from 2020, the slow gatherings of 2021, that pivotal piece has been missing, where it's been very isolating to those individuals who hasn't fully awakened their strength. So so more power to you, like what Lillian's doing. I think for all the ages and all the stages of differences, we need to collaborate. We need to initiate and then form a collaboration, and then help these souls become their full potential and their purpose. And we're all born for a purpose, and a lot of people sleep on it, or we're asleep, or that sleeping pill hasn't worn off, and it's time to light the firecrackers up your ass and wake up and be the best you can possibly be in all the essence, mind, body,
and
soul,
then project it outward.
Spirit. So thank you for that, Keira. And I encourage everybody to go to her podcast. Look at the Freedom House. I mean, this is a great opportunity. It's very exciting to be a part of collaboration in a book. So for those,
and utilize that free thing.
Yes.
Oh yes, the free workshop. I got goosebumps when you said 2/22/22, because there's something that I plan on doing on that date. So I'm working hard to make sure that I, dot every T and cross every I, because that's just how I work. And, get all my warriors standing ahead of me, besides me, and behind me, and be my shield, so I can keep my focus. So thank you for that confirmation.
Yeah.
So we put into the comments, we put a lot of stuff into the comments, so please feel free to click on it. We put Keira's podcast, we put how to get in touch with her, definitely follow her on Instagram. And we put her free offer for that class. And, I know it's for writers, but understand something, that you don't, even if you don't even think that you could be a writer, or you don't think that that's in the near future, just to express through writing, whether you publish it or you do it privately, is really very powerful. And sometimes that's actually just the voice that we need, is to even if it's just to ourselves. So take advantage of the class, and you never know, in that class, you might find that, wow, I really have something to say, and I want to say it, and I want to publish it. And then talk to Keira further about that with Freedom House Publishing. But definitely reach out to her, follow her podcast, and because this is the age of the prophetess. This is the time for us as women to come together. And look, right away, collaboration just happened. Keira talks about her nonprofit that she found from the divine spirit talking to her. And then I come in and say, oh my gosh, you know what? I was thinking about doing this. And then I'm the board member of a nonprofit from a friend of mine, is called Journal of Hope, because she takes youth and teaches them how to journal. And so like all of these things could collaborate. And then Lillian is putting together domestic violence haven for all ages. But there could always be a way that it all works together. And that's the beauty of it. All these beautiful female spirits coming together and saying, what can we do to, how could I help you, Keira? And then how could all of you help me create my dream and the vision that I'm having? And it's all for the same purpose, is to help elevate others, help those that are in need, and
wake up.
give them, yeah.
To wake up, because I one of my projects is to complete this book that I'm writing. And I've been like going, what is my hesitation? Why isn't it happening? And then, it turns from this into, rethinking about my mom. Yesterday was 9 months that my mom passed away, and it feels like she just passed away. And so this was powerful for me today.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Good.
I just gotta let it flow. I'm such a control freak for certain things, or I think I know it all. And even though outside my bubble, I'm like, what the hell? Which way? And where is the yellow brick road? And then others, I'm like, boom, determined. But I needed to hear this because I've been stuck on which way it's gonna flow. It's there. I have it all. It's just about putting it into and adding this and removing that, and voila. Mm-hmm. As a writer, I am not writing it. I am receiving it. It is flowing through me.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes, and thank you so much, Keira, for coming on. We really appreciate it. And this is a really good week try, because for those of you that just caught it, listen to the beginning. For those of you that are listening again, great. For those of you that are listening for the first time on the recorded, that's fine, because this is the week of power. We're the age of the prophetess, and then on Thursday we're going to talk about the year of divine purpose. So you see where we're going with this, with 2022, preparing and grounding and getting ready, So for those of you that had a real rough 2021, as did Gladiator Guru and I, we're heading down. We are letting it go and saying it was the year of learning and lessons and growth. And 2022 will be different, because that's the message that's coming down. And that's what we are going to make it. We're going to make it be different than 2021. We're going to take the lessons that we learned and we're going to implement them. So thank you, Keira, for coming on. Any last thing you want to say, Keira, before we head out?
I think the last thing I would want to say is that every person listening, I want you to know that you are more powerful than you even could imagine. And that if you could just spend a little bit of time, even just 10 minutes every morning, asking who you connect to, if it's inside, to the divine, this highest source, what is the most important thing for me to do today? And if you take action on it, your life will change like that in the most magnificent ways. And you'll watch your gifts and your light and your power just start to unfold. And it'll be a powerful year of 2022.
Trust in the process. That's beautiful.
Say again what we should ask for.
Yeah.
Repeat
So
it.
every morning I ask, and I'm very physical. So I open my palms and I just ask, what's the most important thing for me to do today? And then I just am quiet. And sometimes I receive a visual and I don't know what it means. Sometimes I'd ask, what does that mean? And sometimes I receive an idea, and sometimes I receive just a feeling, but I write it down, and then that becomes that's my most important thing. All the things on my to-do list come after that. And so if I start getting into ADD mode, which I do, if I start getting into like that, then I'm like, wait, have I done my thing? The one thing that I was invited to do by the divine. And then if I do that, everything falls into place.
I love that.
Yep.
Love that.
It's about being aware of taking the time to ask and then listen and feel.
Yeah.
So it's like what we were talking about, just utilizing all your senses to connect with self and the universe. We spoke about that on Viva Moms After Dark. We got to put that into practice. So, mi gente, that is powerful. Thank you so much for that. What is the most important thing for me to do today? Ask and then receive it. Listen to it. Feel it. And then do it, damn it. Just do it.
That's exactly right. Well, thank you so much, Keira, for coming on. It was really just lovely. You were worth the wait. It was good. So fabulous, right?
You came out when you were supposed to.
And we're going to show I have in my head some ideas of people that I'm going to refer for the compilation book. So I have a few people that I'm thinking of, and I'm going to send them your information, and I'm hoping that they call you. So anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for coming on. We will see you Thursday. We will have our small business brag. Lillian Maldonado will be on. So we're looking forward to that. And we're hoping to get Francia back for Tuesday. We weren't able to accommodate her for today, but she'll be on. So thank you, everyone, for coming on, and we'll see you Thursday. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
Yes, mi gente, have a wonderful, well, see you on Thursday. So from the Gladiator Guru, La Margarita, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone. Bye-bye.